So we're here in the IT department of the municipal building. We're in the basement, and we have someone here who has experienced the ghost.
Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Come in the morning, roughly 6:30, maybe a little bit earlier, come through the side door, come into the IT department, sit down in my chair, turned on the light there, sat down in my chair, got up, started down the hallway for a cup of coffee, made it about a third of the way down when I seen a shadow come from the end of the hallway across.
And it was just you in the building?
Just me in the building, nobody else here. At that point I opened up the door, walked out, sat in my car until a coworker came in.
Have you had subsequent interactions?
As in,
Have you seen it before, since then?
I've noticed stuff, but never really seen what I seen that day. That day, it was clearly a shadow across the... I couldn't tell if it was coming out of the room or in the room, but it came across the thing, and I've never seen that as 16 years working here. I've never seen that before.
Now we're in the lobby of the municipal building. We have another story of someone who's encountered the ghost.
So tell us your story, Deb.
Well, when everyone was furloughed, there were very, very few people in the building. I want to say maybe 3 that were in the entire building, maybe 3. And when those of us who were here, we kind of had to be a lot of different people at a lot of different times. So part of what I did during my shift was run up here into the mailroom several times a day to get deliveries, to get mail run, to get mail sorted, that sort of thing. And it was always lights out up here, except for the mailroom, because I had to come up first thing and turn on the machine, do all that good stuff. And probably after the first month or so, I came up here and was running mail, and over the sound of the machine, I began hearing the adding machine start running. And I stopped what I was doing and I stepped out to the doorway and listened, and I saw the tape going up on this adding machine here.
This one right here?
Yes, And I thought, oh, we must have had a power surge, because that's not uncommon, when things go down that everything will kick back up again and you'll hear things starting to run again. I thought there was a power surge and went back in there and continued running mail and whatnot, and I heard it starting again. And so I came out and watched it run on its own. And I thought, well, whatever, it's electrical, anything. With me, I have a reputation of electrical disturbances around me all the time, and I let it go at that. So I think a couple days later, same thing happened again. I come up and I go in there to take care of the mail, come back out, and here is this thing running. And it would have intermittent pauses, and then all of a sudden it would go, and then it would stop, and then it would go, and then I would just watch it.
Did you feel like it was trying to communicate with you somehow? Like, if you do the 43770, it says hello. 4377 was just hell.
Oh my God. No, those things didn't occur to me. All I thought to myself was, it is odd, it's very strange, and it's never happened before, and it's never happened since. And the third time it did it again, and only when I come up here for the little bit of running that I do here. I unplugged it.
Oh, wow.
And left it unplugged, because we were here for months with just me here. So, and there was never anyone with me, so I would just run the mail, do what I had to do, and go back downstairs. But it's never happened again, and not with anyone else.
And it never happened before
Never,
either?
absolutely never.
And you had heard some stories from the people who worked in
Yes.
Lebanon Village?
Yes, I did. The young lady who works down there, she would often come up here to get the mail. She would collect it maybe once a week, once every couple weeks. And I saw her one day, and I can't even remember what we were laughing about up here having to do with that, and gave her mail, and she said something about she would come in here in the evenings and do her work. And she would not, her fiance would not let her come in by herself. He would come with her. And she said it was about 9 o'clock, and they went in through the downstairs and got set up, and she said something felt very out of place. Something didn't feel right, and she was really nervous. And she said that the lights in certain parts of their area began flickering. And as you all know, we have sensors on our lights. She said, then can't remember if she said that it got cold or she just got so that her hair stood up on her neck, but they packed up everything and they left. She said it felt very wrong being down there, and they have never come back to work in the evening. She won't do it ever again.
Now we are on the second floor of the municipal building. We have someone here who has some personal experiences as well as a second-hand story. So why don't we start with the story from the individual?
So we have a contracted cleaning service, and on occasion a position will turn over and they'll have to train a new employee. So that often involves a little bit of hands-on, then you leave the person and come back just to check on them and make sure they're getting the gist of what they need to do. So our contracted cleaner was with this individual, said, hey, you're doing a good job, I'm going to run up to the third floor. I'll be right back down to check on you. Just continue like you are on the rest of the offices.
He was in the basement?
He was on the second floor cleaning,
Okay.
and then his boss, who was training him, went up to the third floor. So he went up to the third floor for a little bit, came back down to check on him, and that person was gone. Garbage can, dust pan, everything's still sitting there, lights on, nobody there. So he calls him, he says, where are you at? He said, I left, that building's not right, I think you should get out. And that's the last he talked to him. I hung up and that was it.
And he was never seen again?
Nope. No, he never came back for more training or went to try another building. That was it. So that was the second-hand story. The other one was, I think it was the pancake breakfast last year. I was standing in the room C, so now we're on the first floor.
Okay.
And if you're familiar, there's windows all around the perimeter there. So the window in the alley side, which is not even 5 foot from the next building, was open a little bit. We had a lot of bodies in there. It was warm, kind of a warm November-ish day, so we had the windows open to combat the amount of people in there. And everyone had just finished cleaning up the breakfast, kind of getting the room resituated, and out of nowhere, the window on the alley side just slammed shut. And if you're familiar with this building, I mean, we have tall, old-style windows.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, in an alley, how much burst of wind are you going to get? Especially when the window faces the other way. So I just stared at it for a little bit, walked out of the room. And that was it. But that's my only two that I can think of in great detail for you.
Did you feel like you were unwelcome?
I wouldn't say so. I think it's just, I'm sadly getting used to it, I think, because I'm in here a little bit after 6 each day. So I try not to think much into it. Yeah, and all the other stores are kind of running together of little lights on off. I mean, there's some goofy stuff in here. So.
Here we are again on the second floor with another person who has had an encounter with the ghost. So tell us a little bit about your experience.
Okay. I am one of the first people in the building usually. I get here probably around 6:30 in the morning just because I spend my first hour playing on the internet and doing my bank accounts because I start at 7:30. So often I am the first one to enter the building, and usually when I do it's pitch black and I go around turning the lights on and moving my way up to my office. Well, since the onset of COVID, we have now had to come in on the ground floor, which, as everybody knows, is where our ghost lives, supposedly.
Right.
So I come in and sign in and do what I do, turn the lights on and go upstairs to the next floor, the main floor. I turn the lights on there, and then I make my way up to my office on the second floor. Well, a couple months ago, on 3 different occasions during 1 week, when I came in, after I made my way up to the main floor and turned those lights on and started walking up the steps to my office, I heard the distinct sound of a door closing on the ground floor, which is, like I said, where the ghost supposedly resides. Well, thinking it was one of the morning warriors that come in early, I didn't think anything of it the first time it happened, but a couple days later it happened again, and it happened in the exact same spot on the steps when I was walking up to my floor, which I thought was a little coincidental. So on the third day when it happened, I kind of got startled and ran up the steps into my office. And I looked out the window to see if anybody was here yet. Looking in the parking lot, nobody was here. So then I started making phone calls to the people down on the ground floor that I knew come in early, and nobody was here. So I didn't know what to do. I got a little nervous, and whenever somebody did come in and I told them what happened, they said it was probably the ghost. But it was a distinct sound of a door closing all 3 days.
At that point, I opened up the door, walked out, sat in my car until a coworker came in.
There, and they have never come back to work in the evening. She won't do it ever again.
Just that building's not right. I think you should get out. And that's the last he talked to me.
And I don't startle easily, but that really did me in.